I don't even know what I'm gonna say, bro.
One, two.
Alright, what's up, y'all? I'm Jason Ofori. I'm a producer from Greensboro, North Carolina, located here in Charlotte. Most ideas for me actually come when I don't really expect it, and I'm not really in control of that because it's kind of something I feel like God just gives you that inspiration. So whenever I get that, I have to lay it down. I either make some type of memo or I go straight to my laptop. And after that, whatever flows out of the moment, I feel like it's gonna be the best. So I always try and capture like my initial thoughts, whatever comes to mind first. Not overthinking it is something I learned. That's like a super common problem with producers, like not knowing when to walk away and when to finally like finalize your product. But I think once you reach that threshold of kind of just like every like time you listen to it, you want to change something, I think at that point you've gone too far. So I just listen to my stuff frequently, like in the car, on speakers, on my phone, make sure everything sounds tight everywhere else. And as long as like I got the majority of my sound together, I think it's usually good. I haven't spent too much time on stuff, like overspent too much time on stuff, because I figured out my sound, and that's just come over time. Once you figure out your sound, you don't really overthink as much, and you kind of find what you know is suitable, and you find what you know is true to yourself. So. To add to that, I guess, would also be just listening a lot to your music, and that could be on speakers, in your car, in your room, your phone speaker, and getting a sense of how it transfers across multiple platforms. And yeah, you'll be able to hear stuff here and there, but eventually you'll get to what you want. Yeah, music is like super, super influential in like people's, what I call like their hidden spaces. I feel like when you're alone with you and that music, a lot can happen. And it's really a safe spot for a lot of people, which is why it's like so critical to make sure that like you're pouring positivity into it. I'd say this last year, I've been more intentional about that. Just involving people, community, to engage themselves creatively. And Jenna probably show some clips of it, but we do like creative sessions, we do like little producing sessions here and there, just to keep people up with things that they're interested in, and do it in a positive way, in a kingdom building way, so. I gotta play that church, man. Yeah, so like a lot of like things that I end up developing over time came from mistakes. So like I started music software in like high school, and it was more out of fun, and I just do it with my friends and stuff. People wouldn't really take it serious, call you a beat maker or whatever. But it got to a point where I knew the software well enough that I could just throw stuff in there and immediately get the sound that I want. And then sometimes like you mess up that, and you'll get like little moments of like cool stuff that you didn't expect, simply because you're just trying stuff, and you end up reusing it, and it becomes part of you. So, there's definitely no shame in experimenting, especially when you're starting, because that's when you got the most passion and the most like drive to get where you kind of envision yourself. So definitely love making mistakes. Make mistakes, actually, because making mistakes is going to bring out the best out of your tracks, your music. And if you know how to use it right, it could become something even bigger. So ways that I've been incorporating my personal story lately have been more so the past year. I've been trying out more film ventures, more like creative visuals, and like being able to present my experience in making music to me is just as critical as actually making the music, because I want the listener to feel and see exactly how I did when I was making it. And visuals are so important in terms of like conveying that feeling. So that me growing up in Greensboro, African parents, it's like it's a whole different world that you can explain another day. But there's so many moments that like your expression is kind of limited, if anything. So being able to kind of take that gospel, that church upgrowing, and turn it into something more personal to you is like a really big blessing that I'm very thankful for, because it's very rare. And like honestly, once you get that, it's something you gotta hold on to. So that's how I use my stuff growing up. So when collaborating, like one thing that I love to like harp on is not to be possessive, but at the same time, you gotta respect the idea and concept and the person who's kind of driving it. And that comes with organization and just figuring out how like-minded and similar people are and what their goals are. Because like knowing why you're here in the first place is what you need to know. Otherwise, there's no point in being there. You're just gonna be doing your own thing. How do you make sure that remains creative and productive? I feel like that just comes from integrity, having good character, being a good like person to people is just as important as being skillful. Like you can know all the production in the world, but if you don't have the soft skills or know how to relate to people in a way that they can appreciate and kind of respect you in that way. Yeah. This bass line was made right there. And you'd be surprised how much stuff I make, like actually just we can always come here. So this is a shout out to Leon Thomas. He would never hear this, but he inspired it. They got the vocals in, bro. So what I would probably want to be most remembered from my music and just my craft in general is consistency. I want like you to be able to tell from the start that I was serious about the passion and that it didn't just evolve from receiving clout or views or anything of that, because I feel like that would be inauthentic to the craft. Before anyone, I'm my biggest fan and critic. So I'm watching all my videos, I'm listening to all my tracks and making sure that I like them first. And once I like them, those who appreciate that will come. And it's something that I have faith in, and that's something I know will happen over time. So just being consistent with my work, making sure the story lines up and I'm authentic to it. As always, you gotta give glory to God in that situation, because you gotta know that your talent is only as good as what he gave you. You know, it's not something that you do on your own. So making sure that you recognize God in that, and that's what I want people to take away. Believe in him or not, that's how I feel like it's moved in my life. So that's what I want people to see. That's how I see it. But yeah, glory to God, always, forever. Something happens, productive stuff happens in there. Most of the time, sometimes people be playing around, bro. Don't come to my studio and play, bro, because I have no threats. I'm a very peaceful human being.